guys, it's Becca and welcome back to my YouTube channel and to another speed build. So today I am building in the world of Sulani and I am making a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house for 2 Sims, and I love building in the world of Sulani. It is so pretty, and you'll notice sometimes as I'm building that I just kind of pause for a moment and just admire the world around the house because it's just it's so pretty, guys. It's just so pretty. But this house is a house that I built for a retired couple. So I pictured that they're elders and maybe they've worked in the city for a really long time and they worked really long hours, and they decided that when they retired they just wanted to get away from it all and moved to Sulani, and they bought this house. And I imagine that one of them loves to fish, so they spend a lot of time out on the water fishing and cooking all their fish, and it's just they love being out on the water. And then I imagine that the other sim is more creative, and maybe they worked in a job where they were somewhat creative but they weren't allowed to just express themselves creatively the way that they really want to, and so they spend most of their time outside just painting the beautiful landscape of Sulani. And I imagine that they have a family that comes in, they have family that come and visit them, and they have their grandkids come and stay sometimes, and it's just they are just living their retirement dreams in the paradise world of Sulani. And so this house is 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom because, like I said, I built it for 2 Sims in mind, but I do have this room off the back that I made into, I guess, sort of a sunroom. I mean, it's basically like an open air outdoor living with a roof, and so you could totally turn that into a 2nd bedroom if you wanted to. But I've pretty much got the outside of the house done, and so now I'm coming up with the floor plan. And it's really simple. It's just, it's a very square style house, but I just really like how it turned out. And I love the color scheme, which it's very orange and blue. And I felt like that worked really well in the world of Sulani. You got kind of the orangey peach colored sand, and you got the blue water, and the house just kind of fits right in the world of Sulani. And I did build this on the Pure Perfection lot in Sulani, and I chose that one because it had a good amount of water, and I love building on the lots that overlook the water, so you can just build the decks right over the water, and it's just it's so pretty. It's so perfect, and it's perfect for a fisherman to live in. But just putting the finishing touches on the outside, and I have to say that I love the island living pack. I was honestly thinking that they were going to release University because that was what everybody was talking about, but island living is awesome. And the Sims 3 it's not Island Living, oh my gosh, I can't even remember the name of it. Island Paradise, is that what it is? I'm not sure. You know which pack I'm talking about. The island pack in The Sims 3 was one of my favorites. And so I was really excited when they announced the world of Sulani and the island living expansion pack. And I've really enjoyed building in it. I enjoy playing in it. I know that a lot of people feel like some of the features are not, it doesn't have as many features as they would want. And obviously, like with the Sims 3 Island Paradise, it had like diving where you could go underwater, and it was the open world, and there were houseboats and those kinds of things. But I have to say, like, as much as I loved it, I struggled sometimes to play there because that world was so glitchy, and I think the houseboats were super glitchy, and so I very, very rarely played with houseboats because they were so glitchy. And then with the scuba diving, I enjoyed the scuba diving, but I don't find that I really miss it here in Sulani, and I think that they kind of went with a different approach to the island living. Here it's more of like just a relaxing tropical world. I love the community interactions that were added in with island living, where you have the neighbors that will come and bring extra food, and they stop by, and there's different events going on, and the conservation career where you can rehab the island. I think that there's so many neat features that came with island living. I don't really miss the parts of Island Paradise that they didn't add into island living. But I have rambled on about that for long enough. As you can see, I'm working on the kitchen, and I love how the kitchen turned out. Now, with this expansion pack, we did not get counters or islands, but I just used the countertops as basically an island, so there's extra space for them to prepare food. And I thought about trying to mix and match and put a different island, but there's not any that match well enough. So I just went ahead and put bar stools anyway, and so it looks like an island. It's just not. Your Sims will actually sit on the bar stools, and they'll sit there. So the stools are functioning, but the counter is not as like a place for them to sit and eat. But I just added this basket from Seasons, and I mean, I just feel like it probably has all their beach towels in it, so if they've got the grandkids over and they want to go to the beach, they just grab their basket and off they go. And I really wanted to use this canopy, but I could not find a place to put it, and so I ended up not, but that's okay. I did end up putting a different canopy in later, but now I'm just working on the table, and I use this table from Island Living, and it's a big table, so even if there's 2 Sims, they can still have lots of people come over and eat. And I just imagine that they're very friendly people, and they love having company, and they just enjoy relaxing and not having to work, and they are making the very best of their retirement. But this is the outdoor living space, and I love this so much. It's just, oh, it's so pretty with the open windows and then the couches and the fan in there, and I just feel like this would be the perfect place to sit and visit with company, or to just sit out here with a book on a rainy day, and you could just sit and have the windows open and listen to the rain and not get wet, and it would be perfect. I would love something like that. We used to have a screened-in porch at a house that I lived in, and I loved it so much because it was so nice to just sit out there and read and relax and not have to worry about bugs coming in or getting rained on. And I think that porches that are covered and are nice for relaxing are just, I think they're fantastic. And you could also sit out there and have a wonderful view of the Sulani sunsets. But right now I'm trying to work on their living room, and I started out with these chairs, and I thought, oh, I'll just have the 2 chairs and then put their coffee table, and I did give them a TV, because, I mean, sometimes you want to sit back and you watch TV, even in Paradise, and if you live here, then you get plenty of time outside, and so it's not like you're on vacation and spend all of your time outside. They probably want to spend some time inside too, or if it storms, because there's definitely monsoons that happen in the world of Sulani. And then I put this picture down, and I thought that that was maybe a picture of their family, because I feel like family is something that's really important to them. And here I'm just putting down a love seat instead of the chairs, because I just felt like it made more sense in the space. And then I'm adding in a bookshelf, and I used the bookshelf that came with the update when we got the freelancer careers, and I use this bookshelf all the time. I feel like it fits in builds that are more modern, it fits in builds that are more traditional. I love the wall bookshelves, because you can put them against a shelf or against the wall, and you can tuck things underneath them if you want to, and I love it so much. It's got the slots where you can put plants and different things on it, and anyway, I probably way overuse it, but it's my favorite bookshelf. And I was just putting some fish on the walls, because I figure if he's a fisherman, he probably caught all kinds of different fish and has some of them mounted, and so I picked out ones that were the fish that came with Island Living, so they're the tropical fish. So maybe it was fish that he thought was really colorful or was really proud of, and so there's a lot of fish on the walls in this build, which I don't normally use the fish as wall decorations in my builds, because I mean, realistically, if you're building a family home in the suburbs, like in Newcrest, they probably don't have a lot of fish that they've got mounted on their walls. And so I don't use them very often, but I did use them in this build. And I used one of those stone plaques from Jungle Adventure, and I sized it down so it has a bit of a weird shadow, but it was just, I like the colors and I thought it worked really well with the house, and so I went ahead and left it in, even with the weird shadow. I wish that that was not the case, but that's okay. And then here I'm adding in curtains, and I love the fact that you can mix and match the curtains and they work so well together, because I think that that's so realistic that you could have part of the curtain, some of the curtains down if the sun's coming in that direction and you want to block out the sun or that kind of thing. I think I love that. I think that's so realistic, and so I like when I use those curtains, I like to mix and match and have some that are down and some that are up. And I feel like that just makes it seem a little bit more real and lived in. And here I am working on the bedroom. The bedroom's pretty small, and I tried to fit a lot of stuff in here, but I play tested it and it all works. I think, I'm trying to remember, because I know that when I first play tested it, they couldn't get to the other side of the bed except for going through the outside door, and so there was a little bit of a routing issue, but they were fine getting to both sides of the bed. And I can't remember if I moved things around before I put it on the gallery, or if I just left it with the routing, because I feel like, I mean, in the long run, that's not really that big of a deal. But I wanted to give them a dresser and a mirror, and then I put the little basket on top of the dresser and putting more fish above the bed, and it was a lot of fun using all the different fish from Island Living. And so I enjoyed doing that. And like I said, there's a lot of fish in this house, but oh, I got rid of the basket. That's right, I got rid of the basket, and then I put this plant from Jungle Adventure, and it's small, or I shrunk it down and then raised it up onto the dresser, and I thought that it looked really nice there. It's smaller, and it looked like a nice plant that fit in with the tropical world. Jungle Adventure and Island Living are packs, I think, that go really well together. They've got a lot of the same colors, and they look really nice together. As you can tell, I used a lot of Jungle Adventure items in this build. But here I'm working on the bathroom, and I put a wall in, and then I put a window in the wall by the shower to make it look like it's got a glass side. And I saw that in one of Miss Griffey's speed build videos, which if you have not watched her speed builds, she makes amazing speed builds. But she put a wall next to the shower in one of her builds and then had a window on it, and I just felt like that's really realistic in a shower like this where you'd have like a glass wall. And so I wanted to go ahead and do that in this build as well. And so I'm just finishing up the bathroom, and like I said, the bathroom is very simple. Just shower, toilet, sink, and then a little spot for the towels. And then I'm moving on into the outside, and this table, so I shrunk the table down to make it fit better, because I feel like when it's full size, the table is so huge, like it takes up so much space, and I feel like it's so unrealistic. And so I just shrunk it down one size and put it in here. But when I was playtesting it, my Sims made food, and then of course they wanted to put it on the shrunken down table, and so the food was like floating. And so if your Sims do that where they put food or something on that table, it will float a little bit. But I think it looks nicer with it smaller, and you could totally put it back to the regular size if you wanted to, or get rid of that table and put a different one down if that works better for you. It doesn't bother me that much, and so I was okay leaving it. But I gave them a grill and an outdoor table on their back deck, and then I also did this spot here. So this was the little painting place, and I thought that having the pergola there worked really well because it gives a little bit of shade while you're painting, and I thought that the view from this back deck would be perfect for painting. I feel like you would be so inspired to paint there. And then I added in some lounge chairs, which are fantastic. I love having lounge chairs. And then I put a couple of chairs underneath the pergola as well. And that's pretty much it for all of the furniture. And then out front, I gave them a swing set because I thought that that would be something fun for when their grandkids visit. And I love this swing set from Island Living, but it's $3,000 in the catalog, which I feel like is ridiculous. And so if I'm playing in game and I buy a swing set for my Sims kids, I never buy this swing set because it is so expensive. But it just looks so nice in the world of Island Living, and I wanted it in this build, so it is there. And then here I'm just working on the landscaping, and I made this build really lush and added in a lot of greenery, and I just thought it looked really pretty. But I'm pretty much at the end of the build. I'm just putting the finishing touches on landscaping. So I thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and feel free to comment. And if you would like to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and you can also hit the bell if you want to receive notifications anytime I upload a video. And I thank you again for watching this video. It is up on my gallery, Becca Sue, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!